Hey, it's Clayton Olson, and in this video, I'm going to show you a fundamentally different approach to navigating your breakup, one that transforms this painful experience into the catalyst for your most profound personal growth. What I'm about to share could completely transform not just how you are experiencing this breakup or divorce, but the actual trajectory of your entire relational future. So you're in the right spot if you are going through a significant life-altering breakup or divorce. You're a growth-minded individual who has built some success and relied on your intelligence and thinking, yet this breakup has thrown you into emotional territory where those same skills seem useless. Perhaps you find yourself cycling between intense grief, confusion, self-doubt, wondering if you'll ever feel like yourself again. Maybe you're laying awake at night at 2, 4 a.m. having these wake-ups, thinking about what went wrong. Maybe you're questioning whether to try to stay and save the relationship right now or go back and save it, or whether you should walk away completely and just accept that it's over. Underneath it all, there's a fear that perhaps this pattern will repeat itself again, either in the next relationship you're in or the relationship that you are able to possibly save, if that's what you're wanting. Either way, deep down, you're here watching this because you know that this is a wake-up call and you're wanting to grow into the best version of yourself and turn this pain into power. So most breakup advice focuses on surviving the breakup and getting back to normal as quickly as possible. And this path is different. It's about thriving because of the breakup, not despite it. So it's not about just helping you heal, but rather create a foundation for a new level of relationship fulfillment with yourself and with other people. So whether you choose to move forward independently and heal or rebuild your relationship on an entirely new foundation, I'll show you how we can use this breakup as a portal to a whole new level of personal power and unlock a new foundation for relational happiness. If this is your first time seeing me, my name's Clayton. I've been a relationship coach for the past 12 years, helping over 1,000 clients at this point navigate really life-altering transitions in the realm of relationship. And NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, has been the backbone of a lot of the work that I've done with my relationship coaching, which means that my role as a thinking partner, as a coach, is to help people uncover the deeper architecture, the deeper patterns that are holding them back in their life so that they can free themselves of this, rewrite those, and start to create a life they love and love that lasts. And I'm also an avid lifelong learner. At this point, I've put in at least $200,000 into my own education, ranging from mentors to programs to trainings to certifications. And in this presentation today, I'm bringing a distilled insight that I believe is a really potent way of entering into your breakup with a completely new lens to face this time in your life. Also, this approach has transformed hundreds of my clients' experiences with heartbreak, leading to outcomes far more extraordinary than they initially thought possible. So if you're curious about some of the results, you can pause the video right here and read some of the things that these wonderful people had to say. Each of them came to me in the midst of a life-altering breakup, and they were able to transform their relationships and lives with this work. So, most approaches to getting through a breakup actually keep you stuck in pain longer than necessary and prevent the very growth that would serve you most, because they're based on what is known as a finite perspective, which means we're treating your breakup as a problem to solve and put a Band-Aid on rather than a transition to navigate with power and presence. Now, finite versus infinite thinking isn't something that I made up. I'd love to take credit for it, but I did not. A gentleman by the name of James Carse wrote a book in the 1980s called Finite and Infinite Games. And what I've realized over the last decade of coaching is that so much of what I actually do with people is I help them move from a finite way of being into an infinite way of seeing their life in the world. And this is particularly useful when it comes to breakups. So in a nutshell, how James Carse might describe this as it relates to breakups, he might say that finite thinking in a breakup is about trying to win. It's about getting closure. It's about proving your worth. It's about getting your ex back, getting back out there quickly, moving through the healing process as fast as possible. Where infinite thinking sees the breakup as a larger unfolding, a chance to grow, a chance to heal. and evolve into a deeper version of yourself and use the breakup as a way to create extraordinary results in your life. So, at its core, finite thinking keeps you trapped in a victim mentality during breakups, where the pain is something that is happening to you and you must endure or escape it. There's winners and there's losers in this realm of thinking. There's guilt and innocence, meaning I'm guilty and they're innocent, like I was the bad guy, but wait, now they're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. We get caught in these cycles, these power struggles when we're trapped in the finite mindset, where infinite thinking, by contrast, gives you access to creator consciousness, where the breakup is the catalyst for profound transformation and growth. And it's something far bigger than something that you survive. It becomes a portal, a gateway to a new level of relationship. So with an infinite mindset, you see your breakup as part of this larger journey. And you can truly start to surrender to what's happening and then create from that place of surrender versus trying to hold on with fear and control, which is what the majority of people end up doing. So in what follows, we're going to dive into the explicit difference between approaching your breakup with a finite mindset compared to an infinite one. And to open this up, I want to read this poem because I believe that it points to this shift I'm speaking to. And just feel what this poem is communicating, because I believe that it's pointing to the infinite mindset around these really tragic transitions that we feel we're stuck in the middle of. It's called Unconditional by Jennifer Wellwood. Willing to experience aloneness, I discover connection everywhere. Turning to face my fear, I meet the warrior who lives within. Opening to my loss, I gain the embrace of the universe. Surrendering into emptiness, I find fullness without end. Each condition I flee from pursues me. Each condition I welcome transforms me and becomes itself transformed into its radiant jewel-like essence. I bow to the one who has made it so, who has crafted this master game to play its purest delight, to honor its form, true devotion. Quite a beautiful poem here, quite a beautiful perspective that one can take on. And I just invite you to be with that and pause the video, maybe read it again. Perhaps it spoke to you. As we move forward, the first thing I'm going to talk about is just some of the finite behaviors, the things that you might catch yourself doing that are reflective of you being in a finite mindset. And as I go through these, I want you to invite you into being with yourself from compassion and tenderness, and realize that a lot of the finite way of showing up is something we have inherited from our childhood. They're patterns that have been there for a very long time. And to exercise just compassion with yourself as we go through this and see the infinite mindset as an invitation, as a place we're pointing to that perhaps you can start moving in, that will help you get unstuck and start creating new life, new energy, new relationships. So you've probably tried some of these finite approaches. Unfollow them on social media, start dating again before you're fully healed, trying to make up for lost time, getting stuck in the blaming them and then blaming yourself cycle, trying to get closure through a final conversation, setting timelines for yourself. I should be over this by now. Comparing yourself to how they're doing, right? Are they moving on more quickly than you? And what does that mean about you? Begging, pleading, fixing, or promising to change in effort to save your relationship. What goes along that with too is, or what also goes along with that is trying to control the other person, making demands, guilt tripping, getting locked into some type of power struggle. Over analyzing every fight and what if, trying to pinpoint exactly where things went wrong as if finding the precise moment could somehow undo the pain. Or maybe you've swung to the opposite extreme, refusing to think about it all, filling every moment with activity to avoid feeling the loss. These are indicative of the finite mindset. And these approaches don't work because they're based on three critical misunderstandings. One, they're framing the breakup as a dead end instead of a turning point for your life and your relationship. Next, they're focusing on you doing external actions rather than internal shifts in order to heal. Right? I've got to be here by now. I'm comparing myself to people on the outside. Is it normal for me to still be feeling this way? What do they want? I'm going to orient around what they want versus really coming inward and connecting with my own alignment. Then finally, judging success by how quickly you stop feeling pain or fix the relationship rather than by how deeply you grow and transform through this experience. Okay, that's the unfortunate piece about the finite mindset. But perhaps the most limiting aspect of the finite mindset is that it keeps you trapped in the very patterns that contributed to the relationship challenges and demise in the first place. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The most limiting aspect of the finite mindset is that it keeps you trapped in the very patterns that contributed to the relationship challenges and ending in the first place. So the finite mindset is not something that just comes online after your breakup. It's been there. And most likely, being in a finite mindset is also what caused the relationship to end. Because when we're in relationship in the finite mindset, we get caught in power struggles, we get caught in trust issues, we get caught in blaming the other person. We start to have a transactional tit-for-tat score-keeping relationship that ultimately leads to the relationship ending. So by beginning to really work on this mindset, the deeper structure of this mindset and why it's here in your life, we're not just helping you move through this breakup with grace and power, but we're giving you access to shifting the deep foundation from which you come from in life. So let's talk about the approach of the infinite mindset now during a breakup. So what are the behaviors that one might do if they are living from the infinite mindset? Well, this person keeps their heart open even while it breaks. Okay? They keep their heart open even while it breaks. They don't shut down. They stay awake in the storm. They live the questions instead of forcing answers. Okay? That means they trust the mystery more than the map. They build new relationships, not a replica of the old one. So they're not trying to get back together with somebody. They're building a new relationship if they're trying to reconcile. They're returning home to themselves, not to the other. So they realize that deepest belonging was never outside of themselves. And they're also transforming patterns at their root, not the service. They don't want relief. They want an evolution and a revolution of self through this breakup. They approach conversations with curiosity, not combat, which means their listening becomes more important than winning. And they're setting boundaries from wholeness, not wounds, meaning it's not about punishing the other person. Boundaries become around protection, alignment, and well-being for yourself. And they're letting grief be a teacher, not a prison guard. So you're not trying to rush your healing and escape the grief. You're actually being with the grief. You're respecting it, seeing that perhaps it's carving you out in a really beautiful way that you will get to experience more love in the future. And finally, you're seeking support to not feel better, but to become more. So coaches, mentors, and community become mirrors for transformation, not somebody that's putting a Band-Aid on something for you. All right, so in order to adopt these behaviors, right, whether it is the finite or the infinite, there's a certain way that you're going to see your heartbreak, right? These behaviors stem from how the breakup is occurring to you. Right? What does the breakup mean when you feel into it? What does the divorce mean? Right? Does it mean you're a failure? Is it a collapse? Or is the breakup in the divorce a sacred shattering that is opening a new version of you to come online? Is it like the caterpillar that goes into the chrysalis and emerges the butterfly? What if that's what this is currently? So we're going to examine the meaning here as we move forward. So how does the finite player, how does the finite thinker relate to a breakup? Well, the finite person, the finite player sees the breakup, that it's happening to them regardless of who ended it. So they're feeling stuck in victim consciousness. It happened to me. The weight of it. I have to carry this now. It's something to get over through closure and time. There's a clear winner and a loser when you look back at the relationship dynamics. There's a lot of resentment that could come from this place. There's a lot of competition that can come. I'm turning them into an enemy now. Okay, the idea of healing in the finite mindset for the breakup is moving on. Just got to get over this. Viewing your future as damaged by this. You lost the one. So viewing your future as damaged, so perhaps thinking that it's just what's ahead of you now, your best days are behind you. Or feeling that somehow because you lost the one, it's impacted your inherent value as a partner out there in the world. that you won't be able to find better, that you've lost the one, and now it's all about just this big mistake and that you have to carry for the rest of your life. This is finite thinking. And if you're trying to reconcile, the relationship is something to be saved or to be fixed, right? Saving the relationship. It's dying. We've got to save it, bring it back to life. It's broken. We have to repair it. The finite thinker thinks in these terms. The infinite player does not see something that needs to be saved or fixed. So how do they see it? Well, they see the breakup as it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Okay? So the breakup isn't just an ending, it's a portal to a more aligned, authentic life. Patterns are messages, not life sentences. The pain is revealing your programming. You're not doomed to repeat it, you're being invited to rewire it. The relationship was a mirror, not a mistake. Every trigger, every triumph, every tension was a lesson in who you are and who you are becoming. The ending creates a sacred space. Space for new possibilities, new ways of relating, new levels of self, things that couldn't fit in the old container. They're grieving fully ending of the old one to make room for whatever new wants to emerge. You know, there's this thing where it's like you look at the relationship and you realize like, wow, who I'm growing into now from this, the old relationship couldn't even hold that. So there's this kind of forward, open possibility that becomes present for the infinite thinker. And your worth isn't tied to who stays or who leaves. So your inherent worth as a human being is not tied to your relationship status or the outcome of what happens next. And lastly, the X is the small prize. If you get back together, you save the relationship, or let's say you create a new relationship, that's not the grand prize. The grand prize is you coming into your own wholeness. Right? The real winner, the real win is you reclaiming yourself no matter what happens next. All right, so we're going to move into, finally, just how do these two thinkers, how do these two perspectives speak about their relationship? Now, I want to land this point. Oftentimes when we are talking about our situations, talking about our circumstances that we are in, we think we're describing them. But really what's happening is we're creating them. We are creating two different worlds through the languages and the language that we use to talk about how we're feeling, the story we have about ourselves, the story we have about what happened, the story of what's possible. So we're going to make this really practical. What does the finite thinker say to themselves or out loud to other people about their breakup or divorce? I wasted years of my life on this relationship. I need closure from them before I can move on. Maybe I need them to apologize. Maybe I need them to say we're fully done. I need them to be clear before I can move on. I should be over this by now. What's wrong with me? Once I find someone better, I'll finally be happy again. I'm never going to be vulnerable like that again. It's not worth the pain. If I just tried harder, we'd still be together. If they just tried harder, we'd still be together. So just notice if any of this hits. You know, I can absolutely relate to some of this and have been stuck in these spots after heartache. And so if you can find yourself here resonating with it, just notice it. Say, okay, got it. It falls into the category of finite thinking. How does the infinite thinker relate to their heartache? I don't know how this chapter fits into the bigger story yet, but I trust it's part of something meaningful. They're allowing uncertainty without collapsing into fear. There's no finish line to healing. I'm walking this path at the pace my soul needs. Time isn't the enemy here. Pressure that you might put on yourself just dissolves into being present with what is. This didn't happen to me, it happened through me. I'm expanding into someone I wouldn't have met otherwise. So in this, pain becomes your portal, growth becomes a narrative. We both did the best that we could with the awareness we had. This ending is cracking open something that is needing to be seen. There's no blame here. There's just reverence for the awakening that perhaps you're in the middle of right now. If we reconnect, it will be as two new people meeting in a new space, not repeating the old dance. They're not looking for a rewind, going backwards. We're looking to move forward and have a rebirth. I'm becoming the kind of partner I want to attract, regardless of whether it's with them or someone else. So your focus here is inward. Your energy is sovereign. So here's a quick infographic that you can take a snapshot of to help you remember what we talked about today at a high level. What we've covered is 3 fundamental shifts from finite to infinite. The differences are how you see the breakup, right? How it occurs to you, how you speak about the breakup, right? The things that you say to other people, the things that you say to yourself, and then also the actions that you take. Are you coming from surrender, love, self-honoring? Or are you coming from fear, control, being vindictive, trying to get back at the other person? Right? These 3 shifts are going to be instrumental in you being able to really alchemize this breakup that you're in the middle of and use it to create the next level of you. And these shifts are not just theoretical concepts, they're practical approaches that can completely transform how you experience this challenging time. And intellectual understanding is the start, but embodiment is where everything changes. So knowing the difference between finite and infinite thinking is the first step. The real shift happens when you begin to live from the infinite mindset, from this deeper place, catching yourself in old patterns, choosing presence over panic, trusting the process over the outcome. And this is where having a guide can change everything. So most advice around breakups is either about getting over it fast or staying stuck in emotional rehash. One skips depth, the other forgets your power. And this is where my approach is a bit different when I'm working with people. I help intelligent, growth-minded people turn heartbreak into the most powerful turning point of their lives, not by bypassing the pain, but by moving through it with intention, clarity, and a new kind of self-leadership. This isn't fixing yourself, it's reclaiming who you are. And it's perhaps even above that, creating the next version of you that is more authentic, more vulnerable, more real, more powerful, more loving, that's waiting for you on the other side of this, that's actually sustainable. So if you are navigating a breakup or divorce and you feel called to move beyond survival into something far more profound that will impact the rest of your life and your relationship capacity, I invite you to click the link below this video and schedule a call with me. And on this call, we'll uncover where you're caught in finite thinking and help you map a path into the infinite mindset that changes just not your relationship future, but your sense of who you are and how you're showing up. And in this deeper work together, what we do is we rewrite the beliefs that keep you stuck, dismantle the unconscious patterns and the core narratives that are running your relationship, and help you build a new emotional foundation for real, lasting love from the inside out. No fluff, no band-aids, just the beginning of a chapter where everything in your life starts to make sense through all of this chaos that you've been experiencing, and where we move towards the place where you can truly say, this breakup was my last. So go ahead and click the link below to book a call with me. The link is in the description below this video. Comment if it made an impact and you felt some resonance. Like it, share it with somebody who might be going through a breakup or divorce right now. I believe this presentation alone will just point to a place that can help illuminate where they're currently at and help them move forward. I hope that it's done that for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.